Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Can you see me and hear me? Good morning. Thank you, Linda. Linda, I saw your email. I am just getting back to life this morning from food poisoning. So I will answer you as soon as I can. All right, let's get started. I'm going to stay on until 12, and then I have to go make Gavin lunch because he has a snow day today. Let me scroll back up a little bit. Where am I? 10:30, 10:30. Will my dream of owning a pet sanctuary ever come true? Will my dream of owning a pet sanctuary ever come true? I feel like it's something you have a lot of passion for, but without direction. So in order to get it to there, it's going to need you kind of utilizing the tools that you have and coming up with a solid plan. It's not that it's not possible, but it doesn't feel like you're headed there right now. There's like a need for clarity. Will I meet someone within 2 months? Will I meet someone within 2 months? No, I don't feel 2 months. No, lack of completion. Not 2 months. I do have 3 of wands, so it feels like it's coming. I'm getting like 2 times 3, so that would be about in the next 6 months. What should I focus on this month? What should I focus on this month? Need to make a solid decision. It's like there's a need for this Ace of Wands, new beginning, new fresh energy, but it's waiting on you to decide something. So making a decision and then acting upon said decision. Any messages about podcasts, please? Oh, I got new lighting in my office. Can you guys see the cards better? Let me know. Any message about podcast? It's almost like someone had an opinion that was different than yours, and it's making you feel less confident about your decision or your insight on it. It's like you were right. Like, don't allow someone else's it's not necessarily negative feeling, but it's like a difference of opinions. Like, stick to your guns about something that you felt confident in before talking to someone else about it. Should my mom look into a new job this year? I feel like yes. I feel like there's something that she's not seeing up ahead that's going to require her to make a decision at some point. So maybe it's a change in management, maybe it's a switching in hours. It's like something's going to have me decide this eventually. So better sooner rather than later is how that feels. Message from Spirit for the new year. The new year. There's a need to make some kind of final decision when it comes to how you're going to handle something on the home front. I don't know if that's finances or like literally like day-to-day home life. It feels like there's a need to pull back until you clear away everything preventing you from making this decision. So it's like a decide sooner rather than later type thing. Don't distract yourself with other things until you make that decision. What is in store for me in January? It's like you're seeing what part of some kind of plan or strategy needs focus. So it may be that you like stumble a little in some area so that you can be like, oh, I need to pick that up off the floor, hypothetically. You know what I mean? So you're seeing what in your plan is not working. Don't take it as a punishment. Take it as an opportunity to fix whatever that is. Message from my spirit team. there's a need to kind of show up as the authority in some kind of conversation that you're going to have so that change can be present it in the right way. It's like there's something that needs to change, and you and another person are going to be talking about this. Know that you are the authority. Don't let the other person's opinions sway what you know to be the best for the situation. It's like you have the wisdom to make the better decision than them, even if it may not seem like that. Maybe like a hierarchy level type thing. Why did that not work? Any messages or guidance about my relationship? Any messages or guidance about my relationship? Beware of impulsivity when it comes to communication. It's kind of giving the energy of sleep on it. Like, is this going to matter in 3 months? Is there a need to focus on this now? Is there a need to focus on something else other than this? Am I focusing on small things that aren't going to matter later to avoid the bigger issue that needs it's almost like instead of chipping away at the wall, just take a bulldozer and go right through that main issue. It feels like a main issue is being not addressed because of hyper focus on smaller issues that don't really matter, that are there to avoid the bigger issue. Guidance and message from my spirit guides for manifestation I am working on. It's almost like you're being tested right now. How bad do you actually want this thing? Will you be willing to keep the faith in the waiting period, in the holding period? You already know what's behind the door of not having it. You know what it's going to feel like to have it. Are you going to let something lead you off the path? So I guess the message is kind of like, don't lose faith in the waiting period. It's not that it's not for you. It's just that your faith is being not tested, but like proven. Like you're proving your faith in it to yourself. Do my husband and I have any half siblings? If so, how many? Do you or your husband have any half siblings? It does feel like there's I'm picking up specifically, not that you don't, but on a sibling to your husband. It feels like one, that Six of Pentacles in reverse. They may know about your husband, but not vice versa. So I would say maybe looking into those ancestry tests. It feels like the other person would know about him. So it's possible that maybe they've been putting out feelers to see if he is also on those type of sites, like the DNA type sites. What will be my biggest challenge in 2025? What area of my life that will truly challenge me come in? What will be your biggest challenge of 2025? Impulsivity when it comes to the way that what you're experiencing in your mind is being communicated externally. So it's almost like this energy of like a refining of the funnel in between your mind and your mouth, because it feels like you're going to be struggling with staying on the negative side that feels realistic or the positive side that feels hopeful. So it's like keeping yourself geared to the right frequency so that you're not speaking problems into existence type of thing for yourself, like fighting against yourself. It feels like your mind and how it connects to your mouth is what is going to be the biggest challenge. And not working against yourself accidentally. Message from Uncle Dale. Message from Uncle Dale. The fighter, gym class heroes. Yeah, it's like whatever was being used to kind of hold you back from being in a mindset of abundance or in a mindset of receiving, that chapter is closing. It's like you're going to be able to be back in your soft era, in your I don't have to constantly be fighting against all these incoming meteorites type thing. It's like a sign that you're going to be allowed to start to feel at ease again. I am almost done because that is part of the project that I'm working on. So hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of next week. I'm finishing that today. It's just because I have to submit it. So hopefully very soon. Message from my guides. Message from my guides. There's a need to give yourself what you're seeking externally right now. And it's starting in the form of some kind of balance, either more energy going out than what's coming in, or some kind of imbalance there that once that's corrected, you're able to bring in something that you're trying to manifest. But you need to give yourself first what you're seeking externally. If I tell him I want to move out because he's too controlling, will he try to physically hurt me? Will he try to physically hurt you? Physically hurt you. Try to physically hurt you. This to me reads like I try to hold you back. I try to maybe get in between you and the exit. This doesn't read like immediate physical harm. However, I will say that I wouldn't all the way put it past the person either. If I feel like I'm not getting to you enough with my words, if I feel like I'm losing control with simply my words, I'm going to increase aggression. So I guess it depends on how long that interaction would go on for. Like if you're just like, okay, I'm immediately getting out, or if we're going to stand here and argue. I would advise against standing there and argue because it feels like a snowball effect of aggression is how I'd word that. So I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think they're going to jump immediately to that. It's more like when I lose control with my words, I snowball. So I would advise against prolonging any kind of interaction that, and as I said that, my son just dropped something really loud. I don't know if you heard that. So it's kind of like maybe starting with throwing things around or something like that and then escalating. Message from my higher self. Message from my higher self. There's some kind of self-limiting belief that's holding you back from pouring into yourself or taking some kind of opportunity that would give you this sense of like accomplishment. It's almost like you'll never know until you try, and you're stopping yourself from trying. And the journey is the destination right now. It feels like there's a need to engage in something that's feeling like it's like pulling you piece by piece that you're preventing yourself from taking action on. Will I ever find the right job / career path? Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles is a very big yes. It's all depending on you making some kind of decision. Almost like you're feeling like the one that you actually want is out of reach. So all the other ones aren't really aligned with you because that's the one that's aligned with you. So it's a need to figure out what feels like almost like a hobby you could turn into a career, but like starting working for someone else and then making it your own. So it's like almost like something that wouldn't necessarily feel like work. It feels like you already kind of know what this thing is, but it feels out of reach for you. Message for the week. Thank you. I'm feeling much better. I was not ringing in the new year in a happy way. Message for the week. You're frustrated because something that you feel like you have the proper plans for isn't going according to those plans. And it feels like that's not it's like something that's outside of the plans, stopping the plans from moving forward. So there's a need to go back to the drawing board here now that you know where the blockage is coming from and readjust that part of the plan, knowing that that blockage is there. And I feel like the blockage is someone else's choices or perspective. It's like knowing you can't change that. How can you approach the situation differently so you can make progress? Oh, let me go to this list. I do a ritual before every live where I eat a specific breakfast that my mom loved. Does she see it, and does that help or at all with her soul or my own. It's healing some kind of disconnection that you only felt in private. So this is like something that we never discussed, as in you and your mom, something that you never really discussed with another person, but something that it's like a bridge, right? This bridge for a while was only going one way, and then the bridge collapsed. And this is like putting the bridge back in place so the bridge can go both ways. But this is like something that you never discussed out loud. And it feels your 11-month sticker is feeling significant too. There's something about 11 associated with this. 11 months, 11 November, something along those lines. Almost like that's the password. Message and a song from paternal grandma. Paternal grandma. Unwell by Matchbox 20. 2007 may be significant. And 1044, the foundation, a completion of a foundation. There's also a 10 here. You recently got some important brick that's going to be important to a wall that you're building, like a foundation that you're building. You either just got this piece or you're about to get this piece. And it feels like it has something to do with that side of the family. It's like follow the light that this produces. Like it's going to be like you get some kind of information and you're like, oh, I should look into that. Follow that. There's something you're going to find there that's important to a foundation. My mom having trouble getting back to Germany because of the snowstorms. Will she make it safely? Will she make it safely to Germany? Yes, but it's going to be frustrating. This is like I'm pulling out all the tools. So it may be like I need to find places to stay in the meantime, or maybe there's a prolonged wait. This is like I'm sick of waiting around. And I thought I had this option, that option, or that option, but now you're bringing me another. So it feels like prolonged delay, but 5 of Cups is reversed. So there is relief at the end of this, but it feels like after frustration. Safely, yes. Frustrated, also yes. I pulled the 9 of Wands in reverse from my first tarot deck. What is the meaning? 9 of Wands in reverse. So it depends on what you were asking the deck here. It's like, if you're just saying, what is the first card for me? This is like a need to kind of put down some kind of defense when it comes to what the deck is going to help you experience. So like there may be some kind of self-limiting belief that's acting as a wall, that the first card is like, okay, let's put down this wall. Let me show you how this works type of thing. So it could be an invitation to like put down your guard a little bit when it comes to receiving information, like test it. Like, what is my emotion right now? See what card comes out. Be like, oh, that's kind of accurate. Okay, let me ask another question. It's like prove that the deck can give you the information because you got the deck for a specific reason to get information. It's like, allow me to do that for you type of thing. I'm going to do 2 more and then go back to the other list. When will I get a consistent, even if not huge audience? I'm afraid I put in all this work, but no one listens, engages, working hard on podcast website. What can we know about the audience coming in? You need some kind of, maybe not necessarily like viral, but like needing to figure out how to get your videos in that algorithm, which seems obvious, but it feels like something now that would be more controversial to talk about that would generate the video being pushed out to a wider audience. So like what Queen of Swords reverse, the Tower is like, everybody else is scared to talk about it. I'll do it. That it feels like that. And it feels like that is your tower. That's what helps people start to come in. And Six of Swords is like, I'm kind of doing this slow and steady, and then boom, I drop this on you. So it's like I build up a little bit of an audience. I get some kind of big video to go out, and then maybe I make that into like a series type of thing. But it's needing to kind of, nobody else wants to talk about it in this way. I'll do it. It feels like that is that tower, what starts to bring people in. Messages for 2025. Messages for 2025. Honest by Kendall Inskeep started playing. Which really goes with this. One second. But if I'm being honest, I'm not being honest. I'll give you roses, just hoping you don't see the weeds in my garden. It feels like this is a year for letting yourself finally feel the feelings to heal them instead of kind of putting them off, waiting for other people to. It's like waiting for other people to admit that they're the reason for your pain is putting off you being able to truly heal it. And it feels like this past year showed you that people aren't ready to do that. And now this is the year where you're allowing yourself to heal from it. So I would say allow yourself to feel it and sit with it so that you can release it, seems to be the energy of 2025. All right, let me go back to this list. Message and song for my ex-husband. Oh no, I'm so sorry. He passed last night for me and my children. Let's see. Let me get a song, 1 second. Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. There's something he's referencing from the beginning time of when you two first met, and almost like that is the key to something, children, that there's some kind of key from when you first met that is the key to helping the children through this, or the key to helping the children understand, almost like a memory of him, your ex, from then. And there's this feeling of needing to change perspective on something that happened within the last 2 months. I don't really know who this if this is for you or one of the children. Something within the last 2 months that needing to change perspective. It almost feels like the perspective of knowing now that on some level his soul knew this was coming. So it's like almost like, excuse me for my apathy then. There was this feeling of not want, if there was something that felt like maybe he didn't care as much as he typically would have in those last months, it's like a feeling of wanting to release any tensions or not build any tensions before the passing. Six of Wands in reverse. It feels like that's something that's more private to the person it's for, whether it's you or one of the children. But I am getting this feeling of like, oh, probably you, Queen of Cups. Feeling of like forest type energy. So like how do I word this? I'm in this feeling of like releasing all the weight that I was carrying before transitioning, seems to be it. And referencing that like a rainforest is what I'm getting. I'm sorry for your loss. Oh, hold on 1 second. I messed up. Hold on. Was my mom and sister Robin, why were they always battling with each other? Why were they always battling with each other? Rise Above It by I Prevail. Your mom and sister always. Why did that get fuzzy? The camera just seemed up during that last mediumship. That's interesting. Why was my mom and sister Robin always battling with each other? There's something that your mom saw in your sister that she wanted to disconnect from. I see this piece of me in you specifically, and it mirrors to me something that I don't feel ready to see. It feels like the intention there was to put fog on the mirror. Like, I don't want to see that in myself, and you remind me of that in myself. And then like a lack of understanding why that tension was there from your sister to your mom. You mentioned possible job offer this month from the prison. Is it going to happen? And am I meant to work there? Is the job from the prison coming this month? Slow movement. 6 of Wands in reverse is like a lack of getting what you wanted as the victory. The Fool in reverse, lack of forward progress. I feel like there's something delaying it. Temperance is like things are moving slower than they thought, or maybe there was like a trial period or something that's still playing out. I feel like there's a delay. Any messages from my mom? Any messages from my mom? There's something that you're feeling is off or feeling needs to change, and she's saying to follow that. Like, you need to trust yourself here. Because it's going to help you make a right decision where you're not otherwise realizing you need to make a decision at all. Am I wording that right? You, because of your intuition, you're like, I need to make a decision about this. But if it wasn't for your intuition, you'd keep going without making a decision. There's a need to trust yourself. Curious if I should look into a side gig in selling things I've created / coffee idea. Selling things I've created. I feel like there's something right now that needs to be fixed in the planning before going forward. Once you do that, yeah, go forward. Side gigging and selling things I've created / coffee idea. It could be the platform you're thinking of selling on. It could be needing to bring in some kind of social media element to kind of get the word out there. Maybe it's like, depending on what you're making, maybe like a video of like the progression of it. Something else needs to be added to kind of bring the word out to make it worth your time is how I'd word that. Because I feel like without having that other element, you're running yourself too energetically dry. And that's why it's like, don't do it unless you can find a way to kind of push it out there. Oh, I feel like I've walked through a gateway. Anything about this shift? Anything about the gateway? The tower. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen the show From, what is it on? Prime? Anyway, there's these trees and they're called faraway trees, and the people will go into these trees and it literally is like it's a portal. If you look up the show From and then faraway tree, this tower is going to look a lot like it. Just it's a tower instead of a tree. Anyway, it feels like this happened for you internally. So it's like the faraway tree, you go in it and it takes you somewhere random, like anywhere random. Like you can't predict where you go. And if 2 people go in, they don't go to the same place. It feels like that happened for you internally. 6 of Pentacles reversed. Page of Swords reversed. It's like so that you can learn something about yourself from the past, but with your wisdom from now. So it almost feels like a gateway within yourself so that you can remember something you have to use now that you've had all along. Is my stepdad still alive? Do you see myself or sisters in his will? I don't trust his bio children to uphold his wishes. Is my stepdad still alive? My stepdad's still alive. I don't feel like, if he is, I don't feel like it's going to be for very long. The Tower is something, catastrophic. Judgment is a finality. Four Wands in reverse is like, I'm not at home. So if I'm still alive, maybe I'm in like a nursing type of place, or no, I'm not. Do you see myself or sisters in his will? No, and specifically if you were told that you were, I feel like it wasn't true. Me or my sisters. Maybe one of you. I have Queen of Cups and Wheel of Fortune, but not all. Three of Pentacles in reverse, not all. Maybe one of you, whichever was closest, maybe, but not all. How is my mom doing? Oh, 1 second. How is my mom doing? I'm reading this as if this person is alive. Okay. So it feels like I'm doing better, but I'm not. I'm maintaining. I'm doing better than I was, and now I'm maintaining. I'm not really making any additional progress. But there's this feeling of maybe like I feel disconnected from myself, which if this person has passed, this is like I'm going through my life review type of thing, or like I'm revisiting something from my life review. But if alive, there's this feeling of like I'm doing better, but like I'm doing a little better, but now I don't know how to do better than I am right now, and I feel a little disconnected. Message from my guides and a song. Human by Christina Perry. The Hermit, interesting. The Hermit and the Fool with the song Human, interesting. There's a need to really trust yourself right now. The owl up here is wisdom. The bird up here is protection. And then up here in the same spot is direction. So trust that you're protected with the direction that you're being led right now. Because like there's a little bit of holding yourself back when there needs to be a little bit more encouraging yourself. Just because you fell down doesn't mean that it was a punishment. It was an opportunity to get back up. So stop punishing yourself for what was meant to be an opportunity to get back up. Oh, let me go back to this list. Message from Ralph for your mom, or your mom. Message from Ralph or my mom. It feels like there's a little bit of a feeling of isolation right now, but that's so you can show yourself that you can handle it. And it also feels like maybe the people who would typically support you are going through something right now that they wouldn't help you. Instead, they would hinder you because of a projection of what they're dealing with themselves. So if there's any isolation right now, trust that it's for your protection, and trust that you're not alone because they are with you. So kind of like maybe channeled writing to them or something like that if you're feeling alone in the physical. I asked for a message and was given a vision of an eye, but around the iris was Roman numerals. I think it was a clock. Interesting. I have Roman numerals around a compass on my elbow, and for some reason that just came to mind too. Vision of an eye, but the iris was Roman numerals. I think it was a clock. Vision of an eye. The self-limiting belief that's keeping you from fully trusting some kind of it's like some kind of insight that you have into something. It's clearing away this fog between your third eye. So like as you trust yourself and take action on trusting yourself, you see more clearly going forward. So it almost feels like a third eye upgrade is what is being referenced here. And the Roman numerals are like the pieces of the puzzle that are helping you clear away this fog. Clock would be it's time. Like you put in the work, it's time for you to be able to see what you otherwise wouldn't be able to see, but you need to first show that you'll trust it when you're shown it, if that makes sense. I would say to start writing down things that feel like they're coming from your third eye and watch how they play out, like repeating instances or numbers or patterns or things like that. I bought a witch's wheel. What can I do to better connect with it? What can I do to better connect with it? Giving the opportunity to talk about emotions behind the scenes. A witch's wheel. I'm not sure what that exactly is, but this is like vulnerability when it comes to communication, almost like as an offering, if that makes sense. I'm offering vulnerable communication, or I'm offering vulnerable communication, or maybe some kind of channeling, it depending on what that exactly is, communication or channeling. I'm offering vulnerable blank. Do you see me passing my exam this time around? Do you see me passing my exam this time around? Not that you can't, but I feel like there's something that needs more work in between now and then. Like almost like you're learning it one way. Like, let's say I'm using flashcards. What other way could I learn this? Is there some kind of audiobook that would make this information stick better? Is there some kind of like if it's like math, is there some other kind? There's something that needs to be worked on more thoroughly, because Four of Cups can be disappointment, but it can also be apathy. So like if I would have just a little bit more hammered this part of the information in, Nine of Cups is a lack of that fulfillment of that desire, but the Fool is going forward. So there's a way to flip that Nine of Cups upright. Something needs a little bit more focus though. Not that you can't, and this isn't meant to be discouragement, but like go the extra mile is what I'd say. And I honestly feel like it's not really you retaining the information, it's you battling your nerves. My mom is end stage Alzheimer's. How long does she have? 3 of her sisters have it too. What can we know about end stage Alzheimer's? 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So like unable to be independent at this point. 3 of Wands in reverse. Knight of Cups. I would read this as things progressively getting worse. Almost like you will be able to kind of watch the snowball as it grows, type of thing. 3 Wands reverse, Knight of Cups is like appreciate all the time that you have right now is how I would word this. 10 feels significant. I don't know if that's like I feel like that's definitely within 10 years is what that feels, but it feels like it could likely be a bit sooner than that, depending on, you know, what you're seeing. I feel like you're going to have a good gauge because you're going to be able to see the snowball and kind of see where it's at now compared to then. But I do feel like it's quicker than you would like, unfortunately. I have a conspiracy theory. What are the chances Elsa, Liam, Cecil Hotel actually made an elaborate plan to run away and that wasn't her in the water tank? What she made an elaborate? Okay, so could she have made an elaborate plan to run away? Making a decision of which path to take so that I can making a plan and then enacting the plan, taking action. 6 of Wands in reverse. This is something that wouldn't have been made public. Private plan. Is it possible that was not her in the water tank? Okay, I don't know this case, but this kind of gives me the energy of I'm making a plan and then my plan gets thwarted and I end up in the water tank. Because this to me feels like, yes, it was her. It's like this is Hierophant in reverse. I'm disconnecting my spirit body, disconnecting. Six of Cups, one of them's being held back. Page of Pentacles, one of them's going. My spirit goes, my body's here. But it kind of also gives I was making some kind of plan. So I don't know if those things go together. If like I'm making a plan, someone finds out my plan and I end up there. I feel like it was her in the water tank. But I don't know the case, but that's what I'm getting with that. Can A be trusted or is she working with C? Can A be trusted? Can A be trusted? I don't think working with C, but I also don't think can fully be trusted. This could be I'm not working with you, but I am what is that called? Enabling, or I'm turning a blind eye to. It's like you're on that path, I'm on this path. I see you, but stay over there type thing. But also, can this person be trusted? No. And Head Above Water by Avril Lavigne just came on. Head Above Water. It's like I'll watch you struggling and let you continue to. Do 2 more here and then head back to the other list. I'm going to turn super chats off at probably like 11:20, 11:30-ish. What is in store for a little sister in 2025? I feel like what's in store for a little sister? I feel like there's some kind of delay here. It may be like something need to be healed in a connection that's delaying this. It could be certain worries or fears manifesting. I feel like 2025, it feels like there's a delay. Doe the brick, my maternal grandma, referred to something to do with my dad blocking my gifts. I mean, yeah. When you were a child, trying to put to bed, the magic wand is grabbing my attention, and the Leo energy, your boldness. So maybe it's this feeling of like I'm blocking them by trying to put you into a container that you won't be able to outgrow. And the spider webs, it's like there's some kind of energy of skeletons in the closet in someone's case, and I don't want you opening that. So if I make you small, you won't open it. How will this year go for my daughter? How will this year go for my daughter? I'm trying to heal from situations or connections that are not going the way that I want. And it's taken a hit on my confidence, and I'm trying to focus on how to heal that. I'm going to say it feels like a difficult year, to be honest with you. It's like I need to learn how to love myself again is how this feels, or I need to prove to myself it's okay to choose me. So it feels like it's going to be a difficult year because it's a year focused on rebuilding confidence. So in order to rebuild confidence, we need to realize that we're not there to get there. So there's this realization of like, I'm not where I want to be. Now, what do I do to get there type of thing? And it feels like it's an uphill climb, but depending on internal dialogue, it could bring her way further than she would have been without that struggle, if that makes sense. Going back to the other list after this one, is Alex open to building a friendship with me? He seems a bit closed off. Is Alex open to building a friendship? Open to building a friendship, yes. Knowing what a friendship really is, give and take, no. It feels like that's part of his personality. Like, I maybe don't know how to be open with people. Maybe I don't always know what to converse about. And like, there's this feeling of like, once I'm aware that I'm looking like I don't have control, I get in my head more about it, and then it gets more distanced. So it's not you that's making this person closed off. I feel like they're open to it. They just don't know how to really do it, if that makes sense. Like, be in the swing of the friendship. All right, back to this list. I've been working on many changes. Any confirmation or direction on that? You're making a lot of progress in the way that you communicate, or it's like you can notice in the way that you speak to others now that you've been working on healing whatever was making you feel not in your power or misaligned from your strength. It's like your confirmation is look in the way that you conversate now versus before you started making these changes, and you'll be able to see your progress right there very plainly. Will I get my strength back? Will I get my strength back? Yes, it comes down to healing the way that other people made you view yourself or your circumstances or your possibilities. It's like other people projected onto you their own fears, and you took them on as your own unknowingly, and your strength doesn't lie in getting stronger. It lies in disconnecting from them putting the blanket on the strength that's already there. Should I run for commissioner in my county? How will it, I'm going to reword this. How will it go if you choose to run for commissioner in your county? I feel like there's a better use of your time. I feel like you have the right idea with the change that you want to make, but I don't know if this is the way, because this is a lack of fulfillment and this is a lack of victory. So it feels like there may be a better way to get the goal that you want, that would yield you the results that you want. It feels like there's a better use of your time is how I'd word that. I feel like I'm stuck in a rut. Any messages or guidance? See how there's a map here and there's a map here, and this one's a little bit more zoomed out and this one's a little bit more zoomed in, and you can kind of really see the constellations here. 5 of Cups in reverse. This is healing. This is, I'm no longer looking at these knocked over cups. I've chosen to turn around and look at this picnic that's set behind me. Feels like the map is in your hands, but you need to zoom in on where you actually want to be and what right now is not in alignment with that. It feels like the map is in front of you. It's just, are you going to look at it and see what has put itself in the map that like isn't meant to be there? Like, if you have this is your map, and then you have a scrunchie and a scrunchie, so you can't really see the direction. It's like, what needs to be removed so that you can see the map clearly? Will my friend's double mastectomy be successful? Queen of Swords can represent the surgery itself, and the Sun would be yes. The Chariot would be everything going according to plan. As I said that, I was drawn to this way or that way. So there may be something like in the surgery that you find out they're like, oh, well, we did this instead of that, but everything's good. That feels to be what would be the most. So yes, it will go well. At the very most, they may say something like, we did plan B instead of plan A, but everything still worked out fine. What deck is this? Everyday Witch. Everyday Witch Tarot. The back looks like that. Trying to see if there's anyone I did not get yet. Any messages for Amy? Any messages for Amy? There's a need to trust your intuition on something that you're noticing someone is avoiding talking about or something that's not being said. It's like, and as I'm saying this, my throat is getting itchy. It's like this energy of like, trust that you're hearing what is not being said and act accordingly. Nine of Wands. So that you can continue with the progress you've already made and not be pulled backwards. Is my son working through the grief of losing his wife in a positive manner? How are L and S handling their grief? Is he working through it in a positive manner? I don't feel like he's trying to do it in a negative manner, but I feel like the negative thoughts are winning. I feel like the negative thoughts are louder and faster and they make more sense. When I think about how bad life is right now, that makes sense to me. I can engage with that thought. When I think about it being good, that doesn't make sense to me. It's hard for me to latch on to that. I guess I'd word it as the negative thoughts are a lot louder and a lot more intense. How are LNS handling their grief? LNS, I feel disconnected, but the disconnection is helping me be okay. I'm numbing, I'm disassociating maybe a bit, but like I'm okay because I'm letting myself do that, is how that feels. My meditations with healing meditations and free coupons are up. Any messages about how I can promote them to best gain buyers? Well, Five of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. All Pentacles and Five of Pentacles is reversed. So that's an opportunity to bring in those buyers. King of Pentacles is like, have my cake. Here's the cake and eat it too. So an offer too good to turn down. Page of Pentacles, how can you turn one customer into two? And a message of how I can promote them to best gain buyers. I would say some kind of campaign where it's like, you get this and you get a code for a friend, or you get this and you can have a friend get this free something or other, or access to this. It's like, how can you make one client into two and have it grow that way? Maybe some kind of like video type thing, like a video type promotion with that. Messages and guidance from my spirit guides. Messages and guidance from my spirit guides. Moving forward is less about taking steps forward right now and more about cutting ties with what's holding you back. I'm being shown one of those people mover things at the airport where you just stand and it moves you. It's like you're on one of them. All you need to do is cut the bungee cord and you'll be able to go forward. Whatever's holding you back, it was just a placeholder. Will Nicole Kessinger, Chris Watts' mistress, ever be brought to justice regarding her involvement with the Watts family? Page of Cups in reverse. Justice is upright. in order to get to justice, we need something to mature when it comes to temperance, something to mature when it comes to biding our time. What is that? It's possible if someone brings forth some kind of solid information. It's like a lack of a foundation. It's like, could we bring it right now? Yes, but do we have enough to make it stick? No, we need that piece. Is it possible? Yes. Is it a long time coming? If so, also yes. All right, I'm going to turn off super chats because I do have to hop off at 12 to make Gavin lunch. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Go to this list. My S1 is exactly what you said, is the connection between my podcast and my next job this year. Do I find my next job or does it find me? Is there a connection between my podcast and my next job? Is there a connection between my podcast and my next job? Indirectly. So it's like maybe a connection you make through that, maybe something that is closely associated but not directly. It's like they're different tools in the same toolbox. So maybe you're doing something similar, and maybe it stems from a connection because of it, the podcast. Do I find my next job or does it find me? It finds you when you finally get tired of not getting what you know you're deserving of when it comes to what you're capable of. It's like you need to get frustrated to be like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. And you align with it somehow that way. Regarding the reading you just said to my mom, you said the 11 months was sticking out. Was she referring to my wedding anniversary? Oh, 11/11. Oh, interesting. Okay. Was she referring to your wedding anniversary? 5 of Pentacles, the star in reverse. Strength in reverse. I do this by abstract. And the first line is I do this for my father. Hold on. 1. First line is I do this for my father. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth line is I do this for my mother. Father, mother, 11/11. Oh, 1 and 4. There's 4 ones. Father and mother. No. Change of strategy, healing. 11. No, it's something to do with her and or your father. It's like I'm trying to bring you a confirmation of some kind of information so it makes more sense to you. Not your wedding anniversary. Will the pain return or have I released it? Will the pain return? In a different form. And I don't know if that is literally it shows up differently, or it's like now that you know you've handled it, now that you know what to expect, now that you know what the worst of it feels like, it's not going to feel as bad, but it feels like it's going to come back in a different intensity. But I don't know if that's it literally being a different intensity or it feeling like a different intensity because your mind now isn't fearing it. Your mind has already conquered it. So I feel like it's going to come back. It's not going forever, but it's like you don't feel like it's winning this time when it comes back. Is how I would word that. Do one more and then go back to the other list. Advice from spirit and a song. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. Advice and a song. Who You Are by Jessie J. Advice from Spirit. 3 of Cups in reverse. 6 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. Be mindful of overgiving right now. It's putting you into the energy of not being able to receive because you feel like you need to be earning the opportunity to receive. And it feels like there's a warning of sorts of getting trapped back in that pattern, which makes me feel like you've been in that pattern before where you feel like you aren't worthy unless you're overgiving. And there's this warning of you're starting to get back there. You're starting to go back in that cycle. And your 8-month badge, it's like it was a continuous cycle. You flipped it on its side. Don't go back into it. So be mindful of not always over pouring into other people, but pour back into yourself as well, so you don't get in that habit of over giving in order to receive. All right, where am I here? I did that one. How do your guides see Karen's new trial going? Karen Reed's new trial. What can we know about the new trial? This kind of gives the energy of the other side is not done their witch hunt yet. Lack of finality of a cycle. Hermit in reverse is like we need to make it. The other side will be pulling out all the stops to try and paint the picture that it could have only been her. Extreme isolation, Karen. I guess I'd say the same type of witch hunt that was happening before. Is it going to work? There's something unexpected coming, some unexpected twist. Is the Sebastian Rogers case being looked into by grand jury at the moment? Are they currently looking into the case? Defending the law, upholding the law. 7 of Swords in reverse. We're changing strategy to uphold the law. I would read that as yes. Will Julia do cheer and or coach this year? Will Julia do cheer and or coach this year? I feel like something's blocking that at the moment. I feel like that's what she wants, but they're all in reverse. Not that it's not possible because all the cards are on the table, but there's something blocking it right now. Maybe you need to follow up. Maybe you need to talk to someone ahead of time. There's a possibility, but it looks like it's leaning more towards no is how I'd word that. What was Kay talking about when she told my daughter she had some problem with me? Haven't seen or talked to her in 5 years. What is her problem with you? You stood up for yourself? This kind of feels like I say something passive aggressive to you, you shut it down, and now I'm holding that with me because it hurt my ego. When the whole time you don't realize it, but that was almost like I didn't want to like you, and then you gave me the reason to not like you, and I'm taking that with me to the bank type of thing. It's weird. What do I need to know about the conflict in my immediate family? Conflict in my immediate family. It's kind of giving people feel like they're protecting one person by holding stuff back. And that lack of communication is making it so that there's not an offering for a resolution. But it also feels like whoever they feel like they're protecting by holding back, it's also hurting that person because of the prolonged conflict. So I guess I'd say, what do you need to know? People need to realize that by not communicating, it's actually having the opposite effect of whomever they're trying to protect. Will there be multiple simultaneous attacks on civilians in major cities similar to the recent New Orleans Bourbon Street attack? Will there be more of those attacks? 9 of Pentacles. World in reverse. Same but different. Isolated incident, but we're not done moving forward to other things. And you're saying multiple simultaneous. So isolate. So the one incident at a time isn't done. I feel like there's going to be more single type of attacks before there's a simultaneous type one. It kind of gives the energy of like the bad guys, whomever they are, testing the reaction of what happens, and there's like a buildup of sorts is kind of what I'm getting there. Is Sebastian in a wooden box or water? Sebastian in a wooden box or water? Yes, child. 2 of Wands, taking another path. 2 of Pentacles in reverse, lack of balance. Impulsivity. Disconnection. I feel like more likely box. I'm not really getting anything necessarily wooden box, but like in the ground perhaps, or it's giving more earthly vibes more so than water. Any advice for DS and her health? Any advice for DS and her health? I feel like there's something not being seen right now, and there's a need to get some kind of second opinion on it. This is like, who could look at this from an even higher perspective, because there's a solution that DS was given that's not working as much as DS would like, or there's a lack of solution, but there is a solution. So 6 of Wands is reversed. It's like a more private practice, like a more specialized specialist. It feels like there's a solution that just isn't being presented because there's a second opinion that's needed. Is how I would word that. How will 2025 be for me? How will 2025 be for me? Unexpected opportunities to take your power back in situations that you didn't necessarily plan for ahead of time. Because you're closing out some kind of cycle, but it requires you to show up for yourself in ways that you didn't always do in the past, but wished that you would have. So I guess I'd say an opportunity to show yourself how much you've grown by situations that may feel frustrating, but are necessary so that you can show yourself how much you've grown. Will my collaboration with Ginger help me achieve my health and fitness goals? Not that it won't, but I feel like it's something that it's really not coming from your collaboration. It's coming from you overcoming whatever was holding you back from it before. So if that's accountability and this person helps you be accountable, then yes. But the power is really coming from you, not necessarily the collaboration. So will it help you achieve it? Yes. But you're going to find at the end that it's something that was there all along for you, if that makes sense. Saw a video where a woman said she took 3 melatonins before bed and connected to spirit realm. I tried it and my husband said I kept mentioning doors in my sleep. Is 3 melatonin some sort of key? Is 3 melatonin some sort of key? So she's pregnant and holding her stomach. So it's like the life inside of me. 6 of Wands is reversed. So something only in private. The Fool taking a leap towards it. So it puts you in a relaxed enough state where you're able to then access the parts of your psyche that are otherwise only within. So maybe like the inner child that hides behind certain shadow wounds or something to that effect. It's like accessing parts of you, accessing, being relaxed enough to access parts of your mind that previously have a defense up, but somehow that's getting you past the defenses, if that makes sense. That's, I guess that's the door, is like access to different parts of you. Will I be in a relationship again, or should I just continue as is? Will I be in a relationship again? I feel like right now there's something that needs healing within your mind. Something that is making you feel almost like, what's the point, because they're just going to hurt me anyway type of thing, or what's the point? um I'm just going to go back into the other cycle. It's like almost like unintentionally manifesting that. So something needs to be you realizing that you've completed that lesson, you completed that cycle, and now you can manifest someone who is in alignment with you and is not a test for you. So I feel like there's a need to kind of take it slow, is what I'd say. Am I close to finding a job? Are you close to finding a job? This is slow movement, and this is things needing to mature. Page of Swords in reverse. Could you maybe look at your resume and see if there's things that need to be maybe better explained or reworded, or maybe this is like a follow-up type thing. It feels like it's taking longer than you'd like. This is slow movement. So I wouldn't word it as soon, but it's something that feels like could happen quicker with some adjustments. His favorite, we got him like a motor trike thing that it's kind of like a upgraded version of like one of those like little car things, but like for teenagers. So that's his favorite. Am I under spiritual attack from someone who has passed? Am I under spiritual attack by someone who has passed? No, I feel like what's happening is there's some shadow wound that's coming to the surface, and it may feel like that's what's happening because for some reason, someone who passed is part of the shadow wound or is a reference for you to understand the shadow wound. Will I visit the US this year? Will I visit the US this year? I feel like you want to, but something's holding it back and maybe putting it into next year or making it take a little bit longer. This is like slow movement, not moving forward, lack of getting what you wanted. This is like, I'm waiting for it and it's just not coming. It feels like something's delaying that. go finish these two. Quick yes, no. I did a whole Who's Your Deity reading from Etsy and got Demeter, Ra, Isis. Okay, got it. First one, Demeter. Demeter. 10 of Pentacles, I would say yes. That's like there's some kind of bloodline connection or there's some kind of ancestral connection that links you to that one. Ra. Extreme isolation. I would say that one I'm not reading as strongly. Isis. I would say, okay, so Five of Swords, weird energy. Almost the energy of it was stronger, but has been pulled back with Isis. The O one. Not getting as strong of a connection with that one. Athena. Yes and no. It feels like there's a certain lesson that's attached to that one, but it's not like an overall type of thing. Demeter is honestly the one that I'm getting the strongest out of all these. And it could just be that that's the one that meant to come through for you the most type of thing. Aries. Yes. That one, yes. And Aphrodite. That one, yes. So the first one and the last two, I'm getting the strongest there. How is SR doing and how will her 2025 be? How is SR doing? I'm trying to create peace in a tense situation, or I'm trying to avoid stepping anywhere that would be a landmine around me type of thing. Like I'm feeling like I need to kind of be in a holding pattern or like almost like hide myself until the storm passes. How will her 2025 be? It feels like things get better in 2025. That's how I'm feeling right now, shrunken in, and I start to expand as I put down the burden and learn how to be the light in an otherwise dark situation. Is how that feels. Let me go up a little bit. Did that one. Spiritual attack, visit US. My first experience that I can remember about my gifts was after my son was born. Was it his two guides, my aunt and Orma floating around both of us? Was it his two guides? Offer of love, not just one person or one energy. Seven of Wands, interesting. That was like when you could physically see your protection for the first time. After my son was born, was it his two guides? I would say yes. All showing you what was already there the whole time. It's just that you could actually see it then or feel it then. Message and a token. It's a couch potato with number 47. A couch potato. Oh, you need to rest. That quite literally couch potato. And this is a woman sitting on a couch. The Lover's in reverse. It's not what you want to do, but it's what you got to do. Seven of Pentacles. Take it slow. There's a need for you to slow down and rest. Almost like maybe find a good book or listen to like a good podcast or something. Even a little bit will kind of change the trajectory of the stress in your mind. Who was the lady in my house that me and my brother saw? Who was the lady in my house? Feels like an energy attached to the house. So if this was like a spirit that you saw, it would be someone who previously lived in the house. maybe someone who passed away in the house or had something traumatic happen to them in the house. Kind of giving the energy of I'm back to try and understand something, as in the lady. My request about work has been missed 3 times today. Is there a meaning in that? It has me worried. Is there bad news there? Why has your request been missed 3 times? This kind of feels like unintentional, like 8 of Pentacles. I'm working really hard. The Fool, I'm diving into what I'm doing. Has me worried. Is there bad news here? Communicating a Tower. My request about work. You might not get the answer that you want here. But it doesn't feel intentional necessarily. It's like this is out of my hands type of thing. There's nothing I can do. There may be a delay or you not getting the answer that you'd like. I feel like you're picking up on the right kind of energy, but I don't know if they're missing it today for that reason. I feel like it's being missed for another reason, but you still might not get the answer you want. Will my son come home for a visit from Japan this year? Will he come home for a visit? I feel like there's something that needs to be overcome. Put down a burden in private. It almost feels like he wants to, but there's some kind of obligation that's preventing the timing being from what you want. I would say if so, it feels like the end of the year, like from the 10th to the 12th month. But it feels like it's more likely something's held off at least once. Any way to elaborate on the bloodline ancestral connection to Demeter? Like, does that mean she was a real person and we were related? What is the connection? No, more like others in your family line had some kind of connection to her that was very impactful. And almost like her saying, this is how that impact happened. I want to provide the same impact type of thing. So not related, but like other people that were related to you had some kind of tower moment type breakthrough connected to her. Should I try to reconnect with my friend Fran? Should I try to reconnect with my friend Fran? I feel like it might not be the best timing, but just because of Fran dealing with something on Fran's end. I would say maybe wait about 2 months. 2 to 4 months. In 2 to 4 months, it may be better timing, or you can reach out now and just know that for the next 2 to 4 months, it may be a little bit like held back because of something that Fran is dealing with. Token. A phone with number 32. Phone with number 32. There may be a need to put your foot down in some kind of conversation that you may want to not put your foot down, but there's a need to. It's kind of giving the energy of like stick to your guns when you feel challenged. My 8th graders have been learning about Anne Frank. Any messages from her to my students? That's cool. Let's see if there's a song. Flashlight by Jessie J, which is from the movie Pitch Perfect 2. Pitch Perfect 2. Like finding your voice. Pitch Perfect 2, finding your voice. Flashlight, being a light for others. Learning about Anne Frank. Always use your light and your voice to stand up for what you know to be right. And trust that your experiences are gifts to help you relate to those around you. And that they can be very, very much more impactful than you could ever imagine. So have confidence in sharing your experiences and your voice, because you never know what kind of ripple effect that will have. That was a cool question. Any timing on when I will meet my divine counterpart? Divine counterpart. Any timing? I feel like it's going to be a bit of time. It feels like there's this energy of you each working on different things right now. You focusing on building and them focusing on like dismantling to rebuild. It's like your stages of life need to catch up is how this feels. Not that that's a negative thing. It could be just like, I realize I want more. Now I'm doing more. It's like they're focused on that. You're focused on building. 4 feels significant. So it feels like within the next 4 years, wait, it's 2025. So 2029. Queen to king, 2 to 4 years is what I would say. All right, everyone, I'm going to hop off to go make Gavin lunch. I will be back on again later in the week. This is my last week. I have a deadline for a project that I'm working on, so I'm not sure if I'm getting any videos out. I need to finish a bunch of stuff for that first. And I will be opening readings. I might open them this week, but I won't be able to start them until next week. So keep an eye out for that. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that. I might do that later today, but it won't be starting till next week. So I have to finish stuff for a deadline. I think that's it. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to my mods. And I will talk to you all a bit later in the week. I'm going to schedule that live probably later today or tomorrow, probably for Wednesday or Thursday. So look out for that as well. Thank you, everyone.